Hello, I am Francine, Bonjour-Carter, and I am here for our grounding practice, like every Wednesday and every Saturday at the same time. And we'll be together for 15 minutes of small, gentle movement that bring you inside of your body. So it's not grounding as in relaxation or meditation. What we are doing here is finding our inner ground inside our bones, inside our body. And I started to do that a few weeks ago because I think we need to develop a sense of inner safety, inner connection with ourselves, and feeling grounded in these times we live in. And it seems that every day there's a new event or news or tweet or whatever, a new trigger. And so I find it really, really helpful with myself and with people I work with to find this time. And it's just 15 minutes. It's really not, big in terms of commitment, but it can make a very big difference because we need to build resilience and to develop our capabilities inside of each of us and then in community to be grounded and to keep in touch with who we are. So that's what we are doing here. You can join me on Facebook Live. You can join me on Zoom. I have two screens here. That's why I'm looking here. That's people who join with Zoom. And all the links can be found on my website, francinebonjour.com. All right, so let's start for today. I assume you are sitting. You can also do these movements. Most of all of these practices so far, you could do them sitting or standing. And I will try to adjust my guidance to those of you who are standing. So if you sit, just take a second to find the contact of your sit bones with your chair. I would suggest you don't lean in the chair, but come a little near the edge forward onto your seat so you can have more awareness of how you're sitting. And take a minute to sense your sit bones on the chair. And if you're standing, you sense your feet on the floor, the soles of your feet on the floor. You can have your eyes closed or open. You don't need to see me because I am not demonstrating the movement. We each of us do it with our own uniqueness in our own body. And we are developing our self-awareness. So there's no goal of doing what somebody else does. So you don't have to see me. So you can close your eyes if that helps you. And sense how your head, where your head is relative to your pelvis. And sense your spine. So imagine, it's not just imagine because it's real, but have the picture of your spine being really inside of you, right? We think of what we can touch or what touches the floor when we're on our back, which is just a tiny piece of our spine. So as you're sitting, sensing your sit bones on your seat, really get in touch with your spine being this large, thick column inside of your body, from inside of your pelvis and your tailbone and your sacrum, all the way up to the base of your skull. So just take a few seconds to get in touch with that and sense how tall you feel, your length. Sense the distance between your right shoulder and your left shoulder. The distance between your right armpit and your left armpit. And are these clear, or are these distances a little difficult to bring together, to think about? And the movements we do here are very small and slow, and can be done anywhere, anytime, by anyone. If for some reason something is a little challenging or difficult, I would suggest you do even less, or that you even just imagine the movement. And I'm very serious about that. You can just imagining, if for some reason you cannot do the movement, just imagine doing it. So as you're sitting and you kind of have a clear sense of where you are on your chair and the contact of your sit bones with your seat, and if you're standing, just kind of have the clear sense of where your feet are on the ground. And bring your arms along your sides so your hands are not on your lap. And start by moving your right shoulder forward a little bit. And again, I'll do it because it feels good, but you don't have to watch me. It's not a demonstration at all. So you can have your eyes closed and bring your right shoulder forward and bring it back to the starting position. And do that a few times, going really slowly and noticing how is that movement for you? What moves, what doesn't move? How do you sense your right shoulder moving forward and coming back? And you don't have to move a lot. If you move a quarter of an inch, it's totally fine. It's enough. Okay, you want to sense the beginning of the movement and what happens. It's not a competition about range of motion. And now do the same, but allow your whole upper body to move with your right shoulder. So you turn a little bit towards the right, towards the left, as your right shoulder moves forward. And the focus is still, like your attention is still in your right shoulder that's moving forward. And it's like in the background, you also feel your head turning to the left and your upper body turning to the left. And you come back and you do that slowly a few times and just do what's easy. Don't push, don't go further than what feels easy, simple, good. And if your shoulder moves, for example, half an inch forward, then your head will turn half an inch toward the left. There's a unit, it's a unit. There's a unit in between your whole upper body in how you move. So you're sitting or standing and your arms are hanging on your sides. And you move your right shoulder forward, and at the same time you allow it to happen. You allow your head to turn to the left. You can sense your whole upper body turning, your chest. If you had an eye on your sternum, which I love to use, this imaginary eye on our sternum, your eye would look toward the left a little bit and come back. And the whole movement is really led by your right shoulder. Okay, and now come back to the starting position, the middle. And now move again your right shoulder forward, but turn your head to the right. And again, it's just a little bit. If it's quarter of an inch, it's enough. So your right shoulder moves forward, and at the same time, your head slowly look towards the right. So what we are creating is a little twist there. And notice how is your breathing as you move. Do you hold your breath? Can you do the movement in a way that it doesn't interfere at all on your breathing, and you keep your breathing easy? You know how to breathe. There's nothing specific to do. There's no better or right way to breathe. As you move your right shoulder forward and your head towards the right. And what are your eyes doing? Are your eyes going to the right with the movement of your head? Or are your eyes fixed in front of you? Can you let your eyes also go with your head to the right? Okay, and come back to the middle. Now just move your right shoulder a little forward and a little backward. Just your shoulder, forward and backward. Yeah. Good. And now come back to the middle. Now move your right shoulder up. Just your right shoulder lifts up in the direction of your right ear. And you go there and you come back. And again, it's a small movement. And see if there's anything you're doing that is not serving you or is not helpful. So let's scan what are the different things that we all tend to do. Like, for example, do you clench your teeth? So as you move your right shoulder up and you slowly bring it back, can you have some space in between your upper teeth and your lower teeth? Just so there's more space, more ease in your jaw and your neck and your throat. Do you hold the muscles of your buttocks? Can you just sit and sense your sit bones on the floor, not needed to be held in any way? Are your fingers also just lazily hanging there? Can you let your abdomen be free and not hold the muscles of your abdomen? Okay, and all of that as you move your right shoulder up towards your right ear and you bring it down. And now next time you do that, at the same time, move your right ear towards your right shoulder. So they want to meet. So you bend your head a little bit towards the right. So your right shoulder and your right ear go toward each other and just slowly. And of course they don't have to touch. It's a slow movement, and what we are interested in is listening to what happens inside of us. So that's why we go slow, so we don't miss anything. We really want to see, oh, when I'm doing that, what do I feel on the left side of my neck? Can you feel that the left side is getting longer and the right side is getting shorter? Can you feel that there's also a getting longer, getting shorter relationship in between each side of your ribs? And why is that important to notice? It is important because we are made of connections, and our bones, our muscles, our brain, everything goes together. And if something happens somewhere, there's an echo of it somewhere else in our body. And the more we are aware, and the more we can find supportive place for what we do, for our intentions, for how we feel inside of ourselves. And so that's what we're doing here. We're kind of expanding the potential we have inside of us through this body awareness. So now come back to the middle, to our starting point. And now slide your right shoulder down. And see, you see, I go with my head. So see if you can just do your shoulder. So your right hand goes a little bit toward the floor, in the direction of the floor, of course. We're not touching the floor. So that brings your right shoulder down. And what it does in your back is that your right shoulder blade slides on your ribs down. And again, it's a small, tiny movement. But it's small, tiny movement that have big effect. And again, can you sense how that kind of bring the ribs on your right side closer to each other. And then the ribs on your left side gets a little more away from each other, more space there in between. And then come back to the middle. Take just a few seconds to sense how you feel, to sense how you breathe, the space inside of your chest, in the back, in the sides, in the front. And now we'll do little circles with our right shoulder. So you go forward and up and backward and down. And make it small, really small, so it's really a circle. And notice where are the places where, oh, my circle looks more like it's a little more square here, or there's a straight line there. It feels a little jumpy. And how can you reduce your effort and maybe the size, maybe your expectation, and make it just like a small, easy circle. It's almost like it's a kind of laziness, I find. It's a kind of movement that is very inside. You move from inside of you. And maybe somebody would see you and would not think you're doing anything, but you know you're doing that circle with your right shoulder. And now change direction and do the circle in the other way. And how is that different? Is there a direction you prefer? Again, check in with your breathing, that you don't hold your breath and that you let your breathing just happen naturally. It's not about taking a deep breath either. It's about our breathing being simple, natural, and not being bothered or changed by what we're doing. Can you bring some space in between your upper teeth and your lower teeth? Yeah. Good. And come back to our starting position. And do the first movement we did, which was to just move our right shoulder forward and see how that feels now. How is that movement? Did you find some more clarity or lightness in it? And because these practices we're doing here are 15 minutes, we won't have the time to do the other side, but I would encourage you strongly to do it at some point. You don't have to do it now, and play with the other side. And remember that we don't walk with our right side the same way as our left side. So again, drop your expectation and just be curious. And find out, how is it with my left shoulder, you know? And oh, it's easier to go that way, but it's not so easy to go there. And just be open to what you learn about yourself. And again, these little movements are movable to any part and any place in your life. So do it as much as you want to do it, and come back to it anytime you feel that you need to just reconnect in a way that is simple, accessible, and reliable. And I just created a YouTube channel, so all these recordings are now on YouTube, so you can go there and share if you want and do them again and again. And every time we do something different, every Wednesday and every Saturday. And I believe, the link for my YouTube channel is also on my website, francinebonjour.com. All right, I wish you a good day, a good weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.